Yo, what's good everyone? It's Coach Abrish here, and damn right, this is my very first vlog about how to stay in shape while traveling. So, as a founder, CEO, or high-level executive, you may use the excuses of frequent business trips, travels, conferences, or occasional vacations to not stick to a health routine which could actually help you look, feel, and perform way better. So, here I am to prove you wrong and show you how you can maintain a simple health protocol while you're on trips to close million-dollar deals. Alright, so here we go, the moment of truth. Let's see where do we start from. I'm doing my regular weekly bodyweight measurements, so it's always good to be clear on with the starting bodyweight and not care about it for the rest of the week, right? So it shows 85.9 kilograms. Alright, so what it means is that it's approximately 190 pounds. And I want to prove you wrong, guys, that you do and you can lose weight meanwhile you're on a vacation, a conference, a business trip. Why? Because even though I will be eating sweets, local foods, try some local alcohol, I will show you can maintain a healthy protocol which is sustainable in the long term even while you're traveling and can still lose at least 2 pounds. So mark my words, when I come home I will be at least 1 kilogram, so 2 pounds lighter. Whether it will work, let's find out. Right, what's up guys, we are here in Albania, Saranda. The weather is beautiful, 44 degrees Celsius, so about 115 Fahrenheit. It's completely hot in here, and yeah, trying to go through this entire vacation in a way that I still managed to lose 2 pounds of body weight, at least 2 pounds, 1 kilogram. And yeah, basically how I do that, how I achieve that, I put together a couple of steps for you that you can also follow, that my clients are also following, that makes it easy and streamlined for you, so you don't have to be the dork who sits in the corner and counts calories in the restaurant or stuff like that. So, okay, let's get started with step 1. Always fuel yourself with protein. So that's what most of you guys get wrong, that primarily when you're on a weight loss diet, you don't necessarily have to go for eating as little as possible. No, you just have to eat the right things, right? So you've got your muscles, the building blocks of it, proteins, of course. And when you are losing body weight, you're not going for losing body weight. I know it sounds controversial, but listen to me. So first of all, you're trying to lose fat as much as possible without losing muscle in the process, right? Because if you're losing muscle and fat at the same time, well, you're gonna end up looking the same but smaller, right? And you don't want to be just smaller, you want to be, of course, smaller in fat size but bigger in muscle size, right? So you want to get the proportions right. So this way, how we did that during the drive here, or how you can do that when you are sitting on a train or a plane, you're just having a journey which lasts for more than 10 hours, it's pretty simple. So all you need to do is just pack some high protein snacks which keep you satiated, because satiation is the direct consequence of eating. Guess what? Satiating foods and high protein foods are the best at it. So what I would recommend personally, I brought some pre-packaged like homemade schnitzels, of course, but if you don't have a loving mom or grandma who helps you out with that, there are so many other solutions that I also use majority of the year when I'm doing my trips, business travels, vacations, and so on and so on. And the same that my clients are using: beef jerkies, protein bars, whey protein puddings, protein smoothies, whatever that you can pack for yourself, even boiled eggs. So the good thing about hard-boiled eggs is just you can put them into a lunchbox of some kind, you open it up and you eat it straight on the spot with some veggies or with some fruits of your choice. So it's pretty much easy. Protein bars are also convenient. Most of them contain 20 to 30 grams of protein per piece. So really, you shouldn't have any kind of excuses that you can't eat enough protein when you are on the journey to the spot that you are targeting right now. So really, what you should focus on is always fuel yourself with proteins. Have at least 3 to 4 protein feedings per day, even when you're on a journey, and you're all sorted. So we can go for step 2. Step 2, the resort workout. check it out. Alright guys, so now we are going to do the so-called resort workout, or you can call it apartment workout, penthouse workout, wherever you are staying during your business trip, vacation, or wherever you go. So, when you are in a situation like this and you can't continue with your regular workouts, you should do something which is simple, effective, and as efficient with your time as possible. So today we're going to do a tricep. Tricep means that you're doing 3 different exercises in a row without rest in between. And today we're gonna do this for 3 different muscle groups. One for pulling muscle, so the biceps, one for pushing muscles like front delts, chest and triceps, and then one for legs. So here's my help for today, this little cooler box. We can start with biceps curls. So 15 repetitions, let's go. It's very important to focus on your muscles. And that little dog over there. And now we're going to continue with 30 regular push-ups. You don't necessarily have to do 30, but as much as is challenging enough for you. Let's go. Now we are going for the squats in a bear hug position with a cooler box. And now we are done with 1 round of this workout. Do 3 to 5 rounds of this every 48 hours, and I promise you, you won't have any problems with maintaining your progress on a vacation or business trip. Goodbye. Step 3, daily meal strategy. So having a clear pathway, a clear strategy for your daily meals when you are out there doing your business trips, your travels, your different conferences is much better than just sitting there and counting calories. So, because if you have a strategy, you have more freedom. If you're counting calories, you're kind of like restricted of how much you can eat, and you tend to divide it linearly throughout the entire day. But in our meal strategy, we are simplifying things and we say that, okay, we need a lighter, high protein breakfast and lunch, and then a little bit of indulgence at the dinner. And the reason behind this strategy is that we don't really want to mess with your blood sugar levels during the day. You don't really need to overeat yourself in the morning, and during lunch you want to avoid the so-called food coma or energy crashes, right? You want to keep your energy levels high and you want to eat as much protein as you can. And by the end of the day, I know it sounds unorthodox, but you can definitely reward yourself. Because just let's break it down a little bit for the calorie counters. Let's say you eat 6 eggs in the morning, already 42 grams of protein for about 360 calories, right? So that's not that much. Let's assume you're eating a little bit of Greek salad with feta cheese on the side, maximum 600 calories for breakfast. You do something similar with a little bit of chicken breast for lunch, and then you are at another 600 calories a day. You have only eaten like 1200 calories. So even if you are very restricted and you're eating only 2000 calories per day, like I do right now, I don't even count it, but yeah, it's about that number. You still have 800 calories left for the dinner. Do you know how much 800 calories for one single meal is? So basically you can eat a large piece of steak with a waffle, with Nutella, with chocolate, with cherry jam afterwards, and wow, you're still under 800 calories. So The great thing is that you don't need to track these macros and calories and all this stuff. As long as you know that you are eating high protein for each of the meals during the day, you are doing it moderately. So high protein food, like at least 50-60% of your plate is protein at the breakfast and at the lunch. You are eating a little bit of satiating carbs at the side, so mostly like fries, sweet potatoes, veggies of your choice. Why? Because they are high in volume compared to the number of calories or the energy that they contain, right? So their size is big compared to the energy that they provide you in, so they satiate you faster, meanwhile eating less calories than, for example, when you are eating a risotto, right? 100 grams of rice over there that can contain up to almost 300 to 400 calories. You don't want that, even more, right? But if you go for 100 grams of fries or sweet potatoes, then it's pretty much under 150 calories. And again, you don't have to count calories when you're eating so intentionally. And still, you've got a lot of options. There are so many different vegetables that you can choose from, and sweet potatoes and potatoes can always be a staple in your diet. You can fill yourself up without having to feel guilty about it. So pretty much that's it. If you can keep these simple rules for your breakfast and your lunch, you don't have to worry about what you eat at your dinner. Step 4. Boost your metabolism with coffee, green tea or water. So this is pretty much simple. My strategy is that I drink a lot of caffeine before 3 p.m. and I do that mostly in the form of black coffee, but you can also opt for green tea. And the very good thing about it is that it really boosts your metabolism. It will make it spinning faster. Of course, you will visit the restroom more frequently, but it's definitely worth it. The great thing about caffeine is that it puts your body into a thermogenic stage where it burns 10 to 12 extra calories without doing anything per hour. So I really like caffeine, as I mentioned before. You can have it in a form of coffee or green tea. What really matters is that it does help you. It does help you focus better as well. The only thing that you have to be careful about is if you want to sleep well, and if you also want to make sure that you're naturally having higher energy levels the next day without feeling groggy or tired in the morning, then you definitely have to focus on your sleep quality. So you have to cut it off like 6 to 8 hours before bedtime. But okay, let's not be so strict. How else can you boost your metabolism? Of course, lots of lemonade. That has been working for me and my clients as well. And water. Drink plenty of water, especially when you are out there in 115 Fahrenheit, super hot, you're sweating all day long, and you don't want to sweat out your hydration, right? So definitely focus on drinking about 1 liter of water for every 45 pounds or 20 kgs of your body weight. Very important. And when you are in such a hot environment, feel free to add 1 to 2 extra liters. Of course, if you have access to things like coconut water, watermelons, a little bit less water can be enough, because they make sure that all the water that you've been drinking is actually absorbed in your body, so they hydrate you better. So if you eat plenty of salts like magnesium, potassium and sodium, of course you are making sure that you're not just sweating and pissing out the water that you're drinking, but most of the time, especially when you're traveling, you can't really do that unless you have the proper supplementation for that, right? So instead of having to take tons of supplements at the same time and having to take them on the way with you, of course, to the journey, then I would just recommend drinking plenty of water and keep this kind of 45 pounds or 20 kgs per liter rule. Alright, and now we can go for the next step. Step 5. Lean eating out. So do you remember what I said about indulging at dinner? So that's exactly what we are going to talk about right now. But how does indulgence work? Does it mean that you are eating everything in plain sight? Are you on a seafood diet that you just seafood and eat it? Of course, it's a little bit more nuanced than this. So let's dive into it. Imagine that you're going to a restaurant. You order a nice piece of steak with a little bit of potatoes on the side, with a little bit of sauce. In some cases even 0-calorie sauce. But what really matters is look at your plate. At least 50% of that is a protein source, preferably a lean cut of meat. It can be sirloin, sirloin steep side, or pork tenderloin, chicken breast, whatever is lean enough and not too fatty, right? But even if you are eating fatty meat, what really means is that at least 50 to 60% of your plate is consisting of protein. Alright, you can have a 30% which consists of satiating carbs, or as I mentioned before, potatoes and sweet potatoes can be your safety food, but any other kind of veggies will do the job for you. And the rest of it could be some kind of sauce or sources of fibers, different kind of salads, and so on and so on. So it keeps you filled and keeps your metabolism going. And what about the dessert? Okay, so remember how your plate looks like? Lots of protein, lots of satiating carbs, so you're already getting full, so you have less space for dessert. But it doesn't mean that you have to skip it. So feel free to go for that juicy slice of baklava or tiramisu to fill yourself, to enjoy what you eat, because in the long term what really matters is that you are following a diet that you can sustain. So you're not restricting yourself too much, because it will only result in one thing: you gaining back all the weight that you lost with months of hard work. You definitely don't want that, so go for the desert, bro. Trust me. Step 6. Get plenty of sunlight. So I'm not saying this to overhype sunlight and its power like these esoteric health influencers, but one thing is for sure: this is good for so many different things. And I'm not only saying that you should do this at a vacation, because of course everybody gets a nice tan on a vacation, right? But when you are at a business trip or a conference, you tend to forget this. And I really want to get this straight, that only 20 to 30 minutes per day is completely enough. Not just to get a nice tan, but to improve your vitamin D levels, your immunization, your sleep hormone production, so you can have more energy the next day, right? And you also improve your testosterone levels, which promotes fat loss and what else? Muscle growth. So, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, when you are losing weight, you are going for losing fat, not just body weight in general. Everybody can lose body weight if they are just simply not eating. But what you're going for is losing fat and keeping or even gaining a little bit of muscle mass, right? So you definitely need testosterone for that. And without sunlight, you can't really produce as much testosterone as you would naturally with enough sunlight. And as I said before, 20 to 30 minutes per day is completely enough for you. Step 7, stay active. So what I really mean by this is not that you have to do the workout that I mentioned at step 2. Of course it helps, but there are so many different ways of staying active meanwhile you're traveling, right? So you can walk, you can swim, you can jog, you can try fighting sports, you can do so many things, you can hike in nature. So please use these opportunities, and don't think that you should be a gym rat in order to be successful with your weight loss or fitness goals, right? So in the past 10 days I haven't even seen a gym. I still maintain my form. I even improved it a little bit. I even managed to lose some weight. Of course it will turn out by the end of the video when we take my body weight measurement, but I already feel much better in my body, much more energetic, just because I kept the rule of daily movement. Just 20 minutes per day, whatever you can do. Of course some days I was swimming for hours, but here's the thing: you don't need to do a certain sport activity for hours to be successful with your weight loss goals. So what really matters is that you're setting up realistic daily activity targets for yourself, so you can make sure that you can keep yourself to these every single day as a non-negotiable priority. So don't listen to these health influencers and Twitter fitness guys who keep telling you, oh, you need to do 10k steps per day. No, if only 6k is realistic for you, you only need to do 6k, but make sure that you are ruthlessly consistent with that. Otherwise, it doesn't really make sense to follow a health protocol, right? Step 8, lean alcohol strategy. So if you thought that I'm the kind of party pooper who tells you you can't drink alcohol if you want to lose weight, well, you're wrong, and I have to sadly disappoint you that yes, you can drink alcohol, but it's not a question of whether you drink or not. It's what you drink, how you drink, why you drink, and who you drink with. So let's start with what. Okay, so I would say you would much rather prefer a glass of quality dry red wine compared to a bottle of beer, right? Because beer makes your testosterone go down and your estrogen go up. And the pitfalls of this is that you become more and more feminine, so more and more fat dominant in your body composition. And you definitely don't want that, because as I mentioned it before, you don't want to become smaller, you don't want to lose weight, you want to lose fat. And of course, you want to keep your muscle mass as high as possible in this process. And beer is really counterproductive with that. So I would say stick with red wine. And another thing is that when you're socializing and you're taking a couple of shots or you're drinking spirits, you would much rather prefer clean spirits, for example, vodka, tequila, or a couple of different types of traditional clean spirits such as rakia or palinka. For example, this one over here. Cheers. Ooh, this is a pretty good one. So, you would prefer these because they don't cause any hangover. They are not so high in sugars and calories overall. And as I said before, it's not primarily about counting calories, it's about the quality of the food and the drink that you put in your body. Okay, so what's the problem with dark and so-called hangover spirits like whiskey, rum, and all of these herbal spirits? So the problem with them is that they get you really slow, really messed up in the head, and they are full of liquid calories, much more than in, for example, in clean spirits. So if you follow my strategy for drinking, you can make sure that you can still stay in shape while you're enjoying a couple of drinks with your business partners, with your friends and your family. And yes, we got to the point where we discuss who you drink with. So I always say that alcohol is not the main course, it's a spice. It's something that you use for the seasoning of the night, instead of being the main topic, the main course of the dinner, right? So you're not drinking alcohol to get shit-faced with NPCs. You are drinking alcohol to celebrate bigger milestones or notable events with your loved ones and generally the people who matter to you the most. So that's why you drink, that's how you drink, and that's what you drink. I hope you found this helpful, and let's see the moment of truth, the weight measurement after the vacation. Alright guys, so we arrived to the moment of truth. We will do the weekly body weight measurement after the holiday, and yeah, I expect to have lost weight. Hopefully it shows. But yeah, let's see. We started at 189.5 pounds, so like almost 86 kilograms, and now we are at 84.0, which means 185 pounds. So it's almost 5 pounds lost. So wow, I didn't even expect this. So let's go for the conclusion. Alright, so wrapping everything up, I've lost 5 pounds in 11 days meanwhile traveling, and this is the living proof that you can do the same if you follow my 8-step framework. So just to recap on it a little bit, these are very simple and not regimented, so you don't necessarily have to follow a strict routine or a very restricted diet or training structure in order to achieve similar results and to keep up your progress no matter where you go, on a holiday, on a business trip, on a conference. So hope it helped you, and hope you will also find it easy to implement this 8-step framework into your lifestyle. However, I know it can be a little bit overwhelming at first, or you may find it difficult at first to implement these frameworks into your lifestyle. So if this is the case, then feel free to hit me up in the DMs. You can see it in the description on IG or Twitter, or feel free to book a call with us and let's see how we could implement these frameworks into your lifestyle. Thanks for watching, keep being awesome.